it's time for a short update with Mayor Nick Long. We're going to be doing these so often, and today's topic is budget. Now, for most people, you and me, our household budget starts at the beginning of the year, ends at the end of the year, but not at all with League City.
Nope.
We have a fiscal year budget. Describe what that is for our residents.
Yeah, absolutely. League City, like most cities in Texas, start their budget on 10/1, so October 1st, which really means the budget process gets kicked off in midsummer, and then basically as soon as the budget's done, we start the next year's budget again. So it kind of just is a perpetual budget cycle, and always making sure that we're planning out these large expenditures well ahead of time.
So actually, it's interesting. Our fiscal year 2024 budget actually starts October 1st, 2023. So when we think, oh my gosh, 24 is so far away, it's really not. We're in May here pretty much. And so right now, all of the departments are meeting with the city manager for him to take a look at the budget before it goes to council. What value do you think council brings to the budget process?
Yeah, so the way I look at it is the council is basically the board of directors of the city, and I would be the chairman of the board, right? And so the one requirement we put on John every year is to give us the starting budget at what we call the no new revenue rate. So that would be essentially no tax increase from a dollar amount to people. So as we all know, appraisals for the last several years, and including this year, have gone up significantly. So if we were just to keep the exact same tax rate, that would obviously result in a very large tax increase to people. So what we try to do is we come up with a budget that neutralizes that overall increase in the appraisals. And so some people actually end up getting a little bit of an increase, some people a little bit of a decrease, but overall across the whole city, we bring the budget in at the same revenue amount it had before, with the exclusion of capturing the revenue on the new buildings that were built in town, the new homes, the new commercial buildings. We capture that new revenue to provide services to those new developments.
What are you going to be looking for when you start reviewing the budget?
Yeah, so we obviously want to make sure that it's efficient as possible, and really the staff does a great job at that. Our primary responsibility is to make sure that from a tax standpoint that it's coming in where it needs to be, and then also that we're investing in the critical infrastructure and putting that money towards the CIP and really those long-term projects that need to get done. So over the last about 10 years, we've decreased the tax rate every year, and we've increased the amount of money we've put towards infrastructure. So really tax rate savings, infrastructure, and then continuing to maintain the service that the people of League City expect, both on the public safety side and then also just in the general programs and services that come out of City Hall.
So how can the general public get involved with the budget process?
That's a great question. So we have many, and I'm talking many budget workshops, and really we usually get about 2 or 3 citizens per workshop, so not a lot of people participate. But the workshops are broken up by topics, and so I can understand that if you don't want to sit through water and wastewater or sewer, that maybe not be what you care about, but maybe you care about the parks or maybe you care about public safety. It's advertised well ahead of time about what we'll be talking about those nights. So I'd encourage, if there's a particular topic that interests you, come to that, listen to what we're talking about. You'll have an opportunity to speak at that workshop, or any of the workshops after that about any of the budget topics. So there's going to be probably upwards of 10 different meetings.
Yeah, there usually is 10 different meetings between July and August that involve the council of you guys on Mondays and Tuesdays, and we have all of those scheduled out, and we'll have those on leaguecity.com based on topics. So if there's a particular topic that interests you. This is going to be your ninth?
This will be my ninth budget.
Year. Now, I have heard you say before that you think League City has one of the most organized budget processes.
I have. I've sat in a lot of budgets for a lot of different cities and government entities just as a function of my job, and I think League City does some of the best I've seen. It's certainly thorough. I mean, we definitely put everything on the table and go through it all, but the way we put it on the web is very easy to understand. We really walk through all those transactions and we lay it out. I think that's a big reason why you've seen us increase the amount we've spent on infrastructure while still decreasing the overall tax burden. So kind of laying it all on the table and helping and having the citizens and the council walk through that. Sunshine is a great disinfectant, and we can kind of eliminate some of the fat and the waste out of the budget doing that.
Switching topics real quick, legislative session in full swing. Can you give League City residents kind of an update behind the scenes on what you've been hearing?
Absolutely. We've spent a lot of time in Austin in the last couple months. The thing that I'm probably most excited about is it's looking like they're coming to some level of agreement over where the tax cuts are coming. Personally, I think increasing the homestead exemption would be the clearest way of reducing taxes overall, and so it would cover a lot of that, the portion of the tax rate right now that goes to schools. So it would maintain the same level of funding. That funding would just come from the state, but decrease the overall tax burden to homeowners. And so I vastly appreciate that plan more than, say, the targeting it from the appraisal cap side. I kind of just feel, let's just have appraisals that are logical and true, and then we'll set the tax rates to generate the necessary revenue. I don't like the idea of playing games on the appraisal side, because it just becomes out of whack and becomes that much more difficult to really understand what's happening.
Well, Nick, thank you for joining us here today for a short chat, and we'll do it again next month. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you.